So this was for my own benefit more than anything. I've just got an SDC and I've just been comparing it to the Algo and just some tiny little nuggets. I'll give it a little run through if they're visible. This one's quite a difficult one to hit. They're all 0.0 something of a gram, except one which I think goes to 0.1 or something, I don't remember. Just the typical really tiny stuff. Here's the biggest of them. This is the 0.1 or 0.2 or something. The goal here was just to see the response on them by comparison with the two detectors. I'm sort of don't know how you can see those power lines, but I'm not far from them. So there's a little bit of instability on the detectors, but nothing major. I'll just run over these ones. I'll do a touching the little jar and then raise it up a bit. So that's touching, and then probably 1.5 to 2 inches, I don't know. This is a real difficult one. So that's touching. That's 1.5 to 2 inches at a guess. Touching. That one's 3 to 4 inches, which is a surprise because it's tiny. This one is the second smallest, I think. That's touching the jar. Probably 1 inch. Three or so inches. Touching. Probably 2 inches on that one. Now this is the smallest. This is 0.03. That's touching the jar. So it's about 1 centimetre, I guess, off the nugget, 1.5 centimetres. That's going up. You have to go slow, but you get about 1 inch. And the setting there is in the mineralized. I'll just show you something actually. I'm in mild soil, so let's just bump it onto mild. See that brighten up? That's touching, that's 1 inch. 2 inches. Back to touching. We'll just have a look through my settings. We'll go back to mineralized for the next ones. So that's touching. It's hard to touch with this elliptical there because the rock's in the way. Maybe if I go that way. Raise it up. A couple of inches again. Here's the biggest one. I'm not going to miss that. That's touching. Fair height on that one, as you'd expect. And lucky last. Touching, and I use that rock as a guide. That's about the maximum above that rock. So I'll just do one more thing and just I'll show you the settings properly. So I'm in mild, ultra fine. It's calibrated. We'll skip that one. Don't need that one. Threshold's just default. So Actually, I might have to do something to show the settings. Just give me a tick. Right. Audio tone default. Audio treble there on default. Soil type, I've just changed it to mild for this. Ultra fine, calibrated. Probably the lowest of the EMI channels. I didn't even do anything there, I just turned it on, but it's looking pretty healthy. Don't need that, and we'll skip that. So that's the settings. Now I'll just quickly zip over them again on mild soil, because I can hunt with mild around here fine. That's just my normal go-to in this soil, but touching. A lot deeper, touching. Not all that much difference on that one. That's that tricky one I keep talking about. See if I can get it visible. Sort of a wiry, sort of funny shaped piece. That was filmed with a VLF. You hear the response is way different, even. That's the smallest one. That's the big one. That's the one where you'll be able to probably gets almost an inch more depth in mild mode on that last one, where I can judge it by the rock. I had to touch the rock before. I can come up an inch above it now to get a response. We'll just flick to the SDC. Love that startup sound, that's cool. So, touching, a couple of inches. Here's the weird wiry sort of one. Touching, you'll get an inch off that. Probably a couple of inches. Touching, couple of inches. I'd say 3 inches on that one. That's quite good. Touching, couple of inches. Here's the smallest one. That's the 0.03, so that's touching. That'll be an inch off. Come on, back down a little bit. Touching. Lose it at about an inch off. Big one. That's losing it there. So I'm very competitive with the Algoforce, about the same on most things really. And then that's the one with the Algoforce on mineralized mode anyway, got it there. That's, as you can hear, that's scrubbing the rock. So, and then in mild mode I was able to get an inch above, which no hope on this one. So I'd say on that particular nugget, or flake for some, that one there, the Algoforce easily wins. The others, it's all pretty similar, I think, maybe a centimetre or two in it between them. Where's that small one? That's the smallest one there. So we'll just go over that one by itself over here somewhere. We'll set it on that rock. So that's touching it, and then inch or so above. Well, you could, maybe if you're really good, you'd get it there, which is getting closer to 2 inches. Maybe not. 1.5 inches I'd say would be realistic. We'll bump that threshold up a bit and see if it helps. Yeah, I'm really sure 1 inches would be the best you'd ever hit that one with it. This is with it maxed out as well. And for the sake of this, because I basically wanted to know for myself, turn the battery on. Can't do it with that finger. Well, yeah, as I was saying, I wanted to know for myself, so what I did is put a 10x6 on this thing, and this coil is a bundle wound coil, so I was just keeping it even with that being a bundle wound 8-inch. So that's the closest coil I had to suit. With a spiral, like a 10-inch, 11-inch or 12-inch or whatever you got, I think the Algo is easily going to win, but with the bundle wound coil, it's about very similar in performance, I would say. On these little nuggets anyway, especially in this ground, which I've got it set to mild now, so we'll go to that little guy. Touching, knocked it off actually. It's a 0.03, so I don't know how to show that. In mild mode, it's definitely beating the SDC, but we'll just jump back to, and just put it back into mineralized. And then it's about the same. 1 inch is about as good as you'll get. So overall, very similar performance, really. I'd be running this in mild mode though, so I'd get a slight advantage. Plus, I probably wouldn't be using a bundle wound coil. I'd go for a spiral. I should repeat this with a spiral, like my 10-inch, I think, and then see. But that's on. I'll crank the sensitivity up. It'll probably just go a bit nutty from those power lines, but. If it wasn't for the power lines, that'd be alright, because that was almost 2 inches, I'd say. Anyway, this was done for me, really, just to have a little comparison, but I thought I'd film it at the same time, just to see the difference in the two. I'm pretty happy with the SDC. It's reasonable, actually. I thought it would be worse than what it is, because I've heard a lot of bad things about it in mild soil, but it's doing alright. It's probably a little hindered because it doesn't have a way to put it into a mild soil mode, but other than that, pretty good. Happy with it. And this is the 1500 plus now. Slightly louder speaker coming out of it. Different shaft system. I've just got an MPEL transmitter on there, not using that at the moment. I use the Belkin batteries and it turns on and off at the battery. That's a good thing in a way, keeps it lasting. keeps it a bit safer. And that's just a prototype 10x6X coil, which pretty good coil, but it's not going to go into production. There's not much point really.